So it's usually the ones who bark the loudest about it are usually the ones who are the perpetrators. Blizzard, perfect example of this. But we'll talk about that in a second. Ubisoft's lawsuit exposes years of, where are we at? 20 seconds. How's everyone doing today? Everyone, it's Sunday. It's currently Sunday, March 9th. It's a pretty nice day here. It is around 60 degrees, so a little on the warmer side compared to some of the other days, but it's still, you're still able to go out like this, which is really nice. It's supposed to be hotter tomorrow, like 70 something, but at night it's still freezing cold out, 20, 30 degrees. So, I was about to open my window, but it's already about 6 o'clock at night. So I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be getting a little colder out. So yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. For if people who've gone to church, I hope you had a good church day, wearing your Sunday's finest. And for people who worked, I hope you had a great day at work. Sexual harassment. Oh, the irony. The irony. Sorry, for people who don't understand, certain words or whatever, they'll demonetize you if it's said within the first few seconds. So something like that, I kind of have to stall. So sorry. 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 We're sorry. Ubisoft, once considered a titan in the gaming industry, a long, long time ago. Long ago, I know, but stay with me here. Is now facing quite the reckoning. With a scandal that is allegedly festered for years behind the scenes. On March 10th to 14th, 2025, three former senior executives, Serge Haskoe, Tommy Thomas Francois, and something Patro, Yame Patro, will all come together right now over me. Do. Come together right now. Such a good song. We'll come together and stand trial in the Bagany, we'll call it Baloney, criminal court, accused of systemic sexual and moral harassment that permeated throughout the French gaming giant. The irony of how a moral grandstanding company like exactly. All in all, a total of 5 executives were arrested. And this is what I just said before before we started. Blizzard, prime example. They want to, be on this moral, moral grandstanding. Have this, oh, we have the high ground and this and that, and how we champion women here. They are notorious for sexually harassing the women at Blizzard. Why do you think, like, the new games that are, like the newest expansion for WoW, like all these expansions are coming out, why do you think they're so women centric? Like there's so many powerful women in them. It's like they're trying to, trying to cover up. You're like, see, we love women. Look at all these strong, powerful females. Oh, see, look, Anduin, he's the king. He's the leader of the alliance, but he's being put in his place by a strong woman. See, Thrall? Oh, that big tough orc? He's being put in his place by a woman. But see, we care about women here, yet they expect you to forget all the years of sexual harassment towards the females. Like, they are so bad at what they were doing. What they were doing was bad. But then they want to stay on this moral high ground that they think they have. Like, oh yeah, we're the champions of women. No, you sexually harass women, you pieces of fucking shit. Ubisoft, I think BioWare was said to be like that. Obsidian, all these companies. The The irony of how a moral, grandstanding company like Ubisoft always seems to be the one projecting their own internal insecurities on society isn't lost on me. 5 arrested total. The case, which first erupted back in 2020, following a wave of anonymous testimonies on Twitter, has now been brought to light through investigative reports by Liberacion and Numerana. The initial fallout was almost immediate, with Hasake, whatever, Ubisoft's former creative director and number 2 in command, resigning, while Francois and Petro were dismissed for serious misconduct. You guys are being fired for what? Serious misconduct. Now, fast forward to years after the alleged toxic workplace behavior, they'll now finally be forced to answer for their actions in court. A culture of abuse and humiliation. The allegations against Francois, who served as Ubisoft's vice president of editorial, are particularly disturbing. Testimonies from the plaintiffs paint quite the horrifying picture of the workplace environment he fostered. His behavior has reportedly included publicly playing films at full volume, forcing surprise kisses on employees, and degrading colleagues with such insults such as bitch, ugly, and slut. But they care about women, right? One incident even described him coercing a newly hired employee into doing a handstand in an open office while wearing a skirt. And another, he allegedly tied an employee to a chair, placed her in an elevator, sent her up to another floor. Actions that sound more like, fraternity hazing than professional conduct. But nope, that was Ubisoft's offices. Most disturbing, Francois, who probably sits down when he pees, is also facing an attempted sexual assault charge after reportedly trying to forcefully kiss an employee during... It's always the fucking Christmas parties. You know, you hear all this stuff about Christmas, like a stereotype you see like in movies or TV shows. Oh, it was a crazy night at the Christmas party. And this dude's living out a freaking terrible movie or something during a Christmas party while colleagues held her down. This sounds like a skit gone wrong from the show The Office. That doesn't, things that don't actually happen in real life, allegedly were happening. The toxic culture didn't stop with Francois, though, whatever, who held immense power within the walls of Ubisoft, stands accused of making sexually inappropriate remarks and racist comments. One example, as cited in an investigative report, involved him asking a Muslim employee after the 2015 terrorist attacks if she subscribed to the ideology of the Islamic State. He also allegedly subjected her to Islamophobic harassment, such as things like changing her computer wallpaper to images of... Why? If it is true, if this is indeed true, why? Again, these are the people telling you that you're phobes, and isms when you criticize their freaking games. And they are doing things a million times worse than, why are you race swapping characters? Why are you making this character black in feudal Japan when you could be using a well-known samurai? No, they'll call you a phobe, and ism for that. But this dude who changed her computer wallpaper to images of bacon sandwiches and placing food at her desk during Ramadan. Oh, no, but this is okay. They're on the right side of history, remember? This guy sounds like a dick, to be honest, because he is. Third defendant, Patro, a former game director, also faces charges of moral harassment, rounding out what appears as the least on the surface here, but to be a deeply entrenched pattern of workplace abuse. Ubisoft's systemic rot. The real horror of this case isn't just the actions of a few men, but more so Ubisoft's complete failure to stop any of it from happening, just like it was with Blizzard. You have all these places, all these companies where terrible things like this happen. Nothing gets done. Nothing gets done until people on the internet hear about it. Only then are things finally done. This was going on for years with Blizzard until people started calling it out. You know, again, these companies think they have like this they're able to morally grandstand, like, oh yeah, we're the purveyors and arbiters of truth and diversity and this and that. We're great people. No, you're pieces of shit. You are more racist than any of us. Like Ubisoft, like in Assassin's Creed Shadows, using Chinese architecture instead of Japanese. If they did their homework, they would know that Chinese and Japanese are completely different. It's basically the equivalent of them. Well, I don't know why people are mad. It all looks the same to us. Like Chinese, Japanese, like what's the fucking difference? Well, there's a huge difference. What, did you think that you could slip Chinese architecture into a game that takes place in feudal Japan and people wouldn't notice? Were you that fucking ignorant? Or were you just so stupid to think that, and you truly did believe that there is no difference between Chinese and Japanese, which is incredibly racist? More so, failure to stop any event from happening. According to the investigation, dozens of witnesses were heard, yet many declined to file complaints, fearing retaliation from the gaming industry. This doesn't surprise me at all. In fact, the way the game industry has been built upon blackballing anyone who doesn't adhere to the cult almost encourages this type of silent atmosphere. The common thread among these testimonies, Ubisoft's human resources department knew about all of it. Not surprised, because human resources is where you have to go for those kinds of complaints. And they're just sitting there and they're like, oh, this is fine. This is fine. They knew about all of it and did nothing. As the report states, HR demonstrated inertia, despite being repeatedly alerted to misconduct. This aligns with what industry watchdogs and employee advocates have long accused gaming companies of, turning a blind eye to toxic behavior so long as the perpetrators hold enough power. Again, not surprising in the current environment. Yeah. The system manipulating all versus common coworkers. One of the 9 plaintiffs back then, represented by attorney Benjamin Bobo. Say what, Bobo? Say what? Say what, Bobo? Multiple humiliating acts and remarks which cause significant psychological repercussions. Reading into the situation further was pretty effed up, to be honest. Despite the overwhelming testimonies, Boba continued to deny any wrong. Of course. The lawyer released claiming categorically denies having harassed a single one of his colleagues. Well, we should just believe him. I mean, I'm not saying believe all women, but if there's clear evidence showing that this is happening, yeah, do something about it. Don't freaking protect the guy. And that he was unaware of any inappropriate acts committed by other Ubisoft employees, which is odd if HR knew about all this. It was documented even back then, and they did nothing. The plaintiff's attorney reject this defense outright. For the moment, it is something anchored in the company, and the managers do not have to intervene to stop it. It is systemic to the company. I have seen several cases of moral or sexual harassment. I have never seen such a desire to humiliate. The game industry's hashtag, or rather, pound me too, Me Too Reckoning. This case here is just the latest. It is the latest in just an extremely long line of scandals that have been exposed. Have exposed the gross underbelly of the gaming industry's rampant issues with workplace misconduct. Ubisoft has already suffered significant reputational damage from the 2020 revelations. This trial also this trial happening now only serves as a definitive test on whether justice will truly be served. Justice. I am justice. I'll take a potato chip and eat it. Or if the justice, or if the industry will just continue to shield its abusers. The fact that it's Ubisoft, the arbiter of truth and DEI, being being the one facing the situation once again, goes to show everyone that the company's pushing DEI the hardest have the most skeletons to hide. Yeah. It's just keep coming. You can't make this up. There are some pretty good chances that all the feminists that Ubisoft hired made up false accusations like the other. It's possible, but again, with Blizzard and other companies, I would not be surprised. This is the one time where I'm like, don't believe all women, but considering this has happened before so many times, it's happened with Blizzard and with other companies. You know, because the guys there, unfortunately, they're oh, we're the dude bros and we run this place, and then so I would for once actually believe the women, because people were saying the same thing about Blizzard and look what happened. So normally I'm not one to jump on the believe all women, but since we've seen cases like this before, then if there's evidence that shows it's happened and it's been documented long ago and they have ways of proving, then yeah. But just once again shows that these companies who parade around saying that they represent and they diversity, equity, inclusion, they grandstand for women's rights and this and that, they're the worst people. They're the worst people. But anyway, that's going to do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.